else you got over there?
I'm on a group that is for...
You should really be on a group. You should really be in a
I'm
group.
in a group.
I am channeling my inner Seinfeld right now. I've been watching lots of Seinfeld.
I'm in a group that is for black-owned business owner or black-owned businesses. Criteria is they have to be half black-owned.
Half.
A minimum of half.
Half. Like fufu? Half?
Like if both partners, if there are two partners in the business, at least one partner has to be black. So anyway, in this group, they were asking for small business owners to post their links to their websites or their Etsy stores or whatever it was that they had, so that other black members could then support them. And so here's this really long list of all these businesses all over the country, and here comes Kristen. That is her name. I'm not calling her something else. That is her name.
She's not Karen.
She's not. She's Kristen, who is a real estate agent. I'm not really sure how she got into the group, but she's a real estate agent, and she was upset that there were all these comments about supporting black businesses, and it shouldn't be about your color. It should be about how the person treats you individually.
And we can't call her Karen.
No, her name is Kristen. She's a white woman. And I'm reading her comment and I'm like, oh my God. If anybody's ever wondered what white privilege looks like, this is it. Bitch, you are in the wrong place to be whining about not getting representation. Shut the fuck up. Remove yourself from the group. Remove yourself from the conversation. You don't belong here. This is not a place for you to whine. And I actually said to her, this is not your space to whine about not getting what you want, not getting representation. You're a white woman. We're represented all over the place.
I know, but why did the whole idea of the group was
to support black businesses.
More black businesses getting out there, getting known. Why did she think that was an appropriate place to have that conversation?
Well, I don't know. She said, I'm a black ally. Bitch, no, you are not. You're an opportunist.
She's saying I'm an ally, but I don't think that y'all should have your own space. We've been dealing with that since every time we did a thing, somebody else would come in and say, y'all shouldn't have your own. You should include everybody else. It's like, but we only created our own because you excluded us from yours.
And here, I'm just sitting there like, oh my God. There were probably, I don't know, 400 or 500 comments at this point when I saw hers. And I'm like, how dare you? Like, bitch, who are you to come into this space?
Just say it. You wanted to call her Karen.
No, I called her Kristen because that is her name.
Might be on Amazon.
But I'm just like, I can't believe, and it was really interesting to see that comment had been sitting there for some hours before I said anything. And as soon as I did, others started making comments underneath, like, you know, she's right, you shouldn't be whining here because no matter what, you're white. Yes, you're a woman, but white women are still above black men if it comes to a job. And she had the nerve to get bitchy. I was like, woman, you have to go. Somebody asked her, why are you here?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Why are you in this why are you in this group? This is not a place for you. And she said, it's an opportunity to show that I'm a black ally.
It's mythic, not mystic.
And that, or I'm a white ally, and that I support black businesses. And everybody just said, but you don't. It's clear that you don't. You're whining that your business...
You're being excluded.
Right, can't be represented in this thread.
Yeah, that was like that black women's retreat thing a while ago, and all these white women were like, "Well, why can't we go? It's reverse racism." It's like, it literally in the title it says for black women.
But that's always been. It's always been that way. That
You can go to any other.
If you do something, if white folks do something and exclude other groups of people, whoever they are, then this is okay to do. And then as soon as they are excluded in anything, it's reverse racism. It's like, but that's just not how that works.
No.
You can't have both things exist at the same time. And black folks have been saying this forever.
Nope.
It's like you just can't, I mean, even going back to going to church. I remember even in the 80s, it wasn't even a thing that you could do. And you're of the same religion, and you still couldn't go from, you couldn't cross that line.
I remember going to a black church for the first time on my own. Not with a husband, not with a family member. Like, I went on my own. And I was looked at the entire time. And finally, at the end of the service, I was getting ready to leave, and someone asked me, "Why are you here?" And I said, "Because I'm more comfortable here." And they said, "Okay." So the next time I went, I still got looks, but that person came and sat next to me. And it was that way for a month. Like, every time I went, I would get looks. And finally, a friend came with me, and then I was fine. But the first thing that I was asked was, "Why are you here?" I wasn't greeted. There wasn't a hello or good morning or whatever it was. It's, "Why are you here?"
Yes, but you are an infiltrator.
Yeah.
I mean, black folks are used to being infiltrated.
Yeah. But...
by whomever.
Yeah.
COINTELPRO, the FBI, CIA,
The Repo Man.
the police. It doesn't matter. We're just used to being infiltrated.
Right.
So the question is it's never going to be, "Hi, we're happy that you're here." It's never going to start
it was,
that way.
"Why are you here?"
Not anymore, because that's how it used to start. "Hi, how are you? Welcome.
Nope.
We're so glad to see you." No.
I didn't get one of those.
Black folks hip to that shit. It's like, no, motherfucker. Why are you even being here? What did you come in here for?
Yeah.
And now we got more reason, because we got white folks coming into our things, killing the people inside.
Yeah.
So, hello, South Carolina.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
The show we were talking about was Mythic Quest Raven's Banquet.
Mythic.
On Apple
Mystic.
Apple TV Plus.
The Apple TV.
Apparently one of the characters in that show is one of the main characters in Life is Strange and Horizon Zero Dawn and Borderlands 2 and Attack on Titan and a bunch of other games and shows.
It's a good show. It's funny.
What was the one yesterday that you were watching the preview for that was like Monty Python type? Something with Vikings.
Norseman,
That looked funny.
which is supposed to be like a comedy.
It was.
It came out in 2015, something like that. It's not new.
It just reminded me of Monty Python, the way their humor was. And I really enjoy Monty Python.
Which is now under scrutiny.
Why?
For the same reason that Winston Churchill's statue, today, his statue is under siege. It's basically everything, and the same reason that HBO pulled Gone with the Wind, and Confederate statues are being pulled down, and Cecil Rhodes is being looked at again. It's all the same reason. I'm not saying that they're wrong, because honestly, they probably never should have been put up. One of my friends from Skiki said they're like these statues are like participation trophies.
Everybody gets one.
Because that's what they seem like. They're like the perfect, they're like just big versions of participation trophies. Because basically, and it's funny that people from the South are saying this, but it's mostly just black folks, of course. You lost the war, but you still got a statue. That's a participation trophy.
Yeah. Thanks
which
for
is
coming. Here you go.
hilarious. Because so many people are so against their kids getting a trophy just for showing up, not for winning.
Yeah.
It's a dumb idea.
Which is exactly what everybody that fought under the Confederacy, that's what they got. And they literally have them. I think somebody said there's over, what they say? I want to say 700 statues of Confederate people all over the United States.
Wow. Everybody gets one.
Everybody gets a participation trophy. Oh, it's so funny to me. That if you started calling them that and stopped calling them Confederate statues, I'm sure that even the people that think that they're a good thing would probably not want them anymore.
No, Aaron.
What?
It says across the United States there are an estimated 1,741 public symbols of Confederacy.
Well, see, that's public symbols. So
We're talking
it's on top of
statues.
the number I'm probably getting. Because they just said statues.
771 statues and monuments.
You started watching Snowpiercer, right?
Oh yeah, I'm all caught up. It's coming out every week.
Happened in 2013.
No, that's the film.
Why
The
would
thing that's happening now is happening now.
Why would Pennsylvania?
Usually things that are happening now are happening now.
Why
What?
would Pennsylvania have two
I've been watching Seinfeld.
statues to Confederate soldiers in Pennsylvania? One in Delaware, one in Maryland.
You do know that.
I mean, I understand the South. I get it.
No, stop. Gettysburg is in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Well, that's why.
They're still
Gettysburg.
north.
No. The Gettysburg is an entire monument to the war. Because both sides lost many thousands of soldiers. Both sides did. In Gettysburg. You gotta understand that they didn't just fight in the South.
I know they didn't just fight in
So
the
then
South.
why
but
wouldn't
why
they?
would in the North they erect a statue to a Confederate?
Do you think that everybody in the North was for what Lincoln was talking about? Thought the war was a good idea?
Well, I'm sure they did not.
No, they did not. Most people didn't like Lincoln.
Yeah. So
I mean, they voted for him, but they didn't like him.
the state with the most is Georgia with 114, and then Virginia with 110.
Doesn't Georgia? I don't know. Wasn't? Look up Georgia's state flag.
Snowpiercer, the movie, and Chris Evans.
Yes.
The show has Jennifer Connelly. and
Yes.
her brother.
Yes.
And apparently Sean Bean.
If it does, I
The dying man.
haven't seen him yet. He's got another thing that's out.
The man who dies in everything he's ever been.
Georgia state flag. You got it?
Yeah, I
You
guess.
can't see, you don't.
Well,
you don't
there's a
look
current
dirty.
one, there's an original one, and there's an old one.
Right. Which one has the Confederate flag in it? The battle flag.
The old one.
Right. So they changed it. But I think Mississippi has not changed theirs.
I'll look it up.
Apparently Sean Bean is in it.
I love how we have these two competing ideas going on at one time. You got this one over here talking about the Sean
They have
Bean
not
and,
changed it.
see, and then she's over there on the racial tip.
Sean Bean is
I
in
don't even know who that is. What
Yeah, but
Aaron's
he's also
talking
in something that is current, I think, on Netflix because it keeps coming up. In my thing.
Apparently he was in Jupiter Ascending. I don't know who he is in there, but he probably died.
Look, man, Sean Bean. You've been watching him die since.
The only thing I haven't
since-
seen him die in was that.
Is it Live and Let Die? No.
I don't know who who that is.
Sean Bean?
Oh, yes, you do.
No?
He tried to take the ring from Frodo. What are you
He got
talking
shot
about?
a bunch of times, and Sean Bean, the Diane
I
Man.
don't know their names.
You don't know him. You know him. We were just talking about him in Fellowship of the Ring.
I don't know actors' names. I'm not sorry about it.
You should be sorry. Because you're sorry.
You're sad.
Anything else?
Well, since we're talking about Confederate flags,
Now, there's lots of different Confederate flags. It's not just one.
I found it really.
Usually we're talking about the Confederate battle flag. That's the one that is.
So this week they've been removing Confederate flags from places like businesses and banning them from NASCAR. They can't wear a Confederate flag or display it in any way at a NASCAR event. They are removing black hair care products from cages in places like Walmart.
What do you mean from cages? Because that didn't sound good.
Yeah, that sounded really, really, really bad.
Okay, it's really, really, really bad. If you go into Walmart or Walgreens or CVS or Meijer or lots of different places, well, I've never seen it in Meijer, but in lots of different places, when you go to the hair care aisle, you'll see all the products for white people sitting out on the shelf, fine. But when you need to get a black hair care product, you have to then ask someone to get it out from behind the cage or the plexiglass box or whatever they have it locked up behind. Because black folks steal the hair care products.
Black folks steal shit.
So Walmart is now removing their hair care products from the cages that they have them in all over the country.
Okay, but what does that mean in the store? Like, now I go shopping and what am I going to see?
You should see, according to what they said, the hair care products displayed the same as the other hair care products.
Out there available for everybody to buy.
Yes. Walgreens is really bad for this, too.
But most of those companies are white.
I know.
Oh, so, okay, so what's the problem? I don't
I
get
know.
what the
Well,
issue is then.
I'm not saying that there's an issue. I'm saying that they are making these changes because of the protests, because of the Black Lives Matter movement. Now these companies are taking these steps that should have been taken years and decades ago, 100 years ago.
Why? Why should they do that? With this one thing, so I'm going to ask you about something else in a minute. Why should they take these products out of the lockdown state that they're in? If they're being stolen, what I'm saying is they were justified in putting them in if they were being stolen.
But I don't think that they were
In their
being
stores.
stolen.
Okay, so you're just not believing that they were being stolen.
Right.
In the first place.
Right.
To warrant putting them
Right.
behind glass. Okay, now, does that mean that in the hood, mostly what I've seen in Detroit, that means that we now need to take down the bulletproof glass in all the convenience stores?
I wouldn't do that.
Wait a minute now, this is the same reason.
But aren't those the store owners who put them up?
No, they put them up because they're in black neighborhoods, because you drive out of the black neighborhoods and they're not there. You drive out into the suburbs of Detroit and they're not there.
But they have them in GR.
Not like the ones in Detroit. They're not like that. Not at all. And we've got lots of convenience stores in Grand Rapids that aren't like that. Because it's an expense, and it's a hefty expense.
Yeah, they're really
to put
thick
that shit
pieces
in.
of
And
bulletproof
to put that little
plexiglass.
turnstile
Yeah.
thing in to do all of your transacting. No. So should all that come down to? Because what you're saying is, we believe that the people who would buy these products are going to steal them, right?
That's
things in cage. So you're saying that we believe that this is how these people are when they come to our store. But then, if I've got all this big, giant, bulletproof plexiglass in my store, I'm also saying that you're going to rob me and I need safety from you while creating a store to service you in your community. So, because I'm sorry, you take a person, I don't care how old they are, and that's what they meet when they go into a store, or they get the opposite where it's open and the people are welcoming when they come in and all of that stuff. If you might behave differently.
Yeah.
Because you're being treated differently. And then when the riot comes, maybe your store doesn't get burned down.
Right.
Because you never treated the people badly. It is a treatment. It's a psychological thing that happens to us when we go into these places in our neighborhoods, in black neighborhoods.
Yeah.
But if you go out into Sterling Heights, it's not there.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist. They don't treat white folks that way. They don't automatically assume that they're there to hold them up, even though that the numbers of people committing these crimes are not overwhelming toward black and brown people.
Yeah.
That's never been the case.
I don't remember when the first time I saw something like that, like the plexiglass in a convenience store. But I want to say I was a teenager. And I couldn't understand why, but every place I went in that area had them. But I don't remember where I was or how old I was. I just remember thinking...
It was a black neighborhood then, because white folks didn't do that. Even in the and I saw this when I worked for Old Kent Bank. In Grand Rapids, you go into what are they called? Go into a branch, and you could see the people and say good morning, and you could talk to someone, and you could walk right up to their desk, and you could go up to the teller, and they had a high thing, but there was nothing connecting it to the ceiling.
Glass.
So then you could, you could talk to the people face to face. There was no glass, there was no microphone, there was none of that, and you could do your transaction and you walk out. You felt fine about what you were doing and why you were there. You did the exact same thing in Detroit, and it was like you walked into a prison. You'd walk in and see, being an ID, I've got to go in all these places, and then all of a sudden now I've got to walk in to a lobby area where the only people in the lobby area are patrons, and they're all sequestered together, and then to get to the back, you've got to now get buzzed in or have a card key to walk through a door, to then use it on another door, to walk over to the tellers, and it's like you're literally in prison.
Right.
And I worked for them. I worked there.
Yeah.
It's a totally different idea than just being a customer, but the way the customer you would feel being in that position of, I've walked in and now I'm not trusted to be just a regular customer.
Right.
I'm looked at as a
Potential
threat
criminal.
just by coming to do my banking, my regular business.
Yeah.
And so, that, I guess that idea that, we put a business in this particular neighborhood, and then all of a sudden now we have to put up all these other things in order to operate in that neighborhood. But now that we put all those things in, the people are going to behave differently toward us because you put all that shit in.
Yep.
As opposed to when you go out to the white neighborhoods and you don't have any of that stuff. You can't tell me they're not being held up. I went to a branch after it had been held up. In Grand Rapids.
Right, there's one in Grand Rapids that gets held up frequently.
And it was basically all women that worked there.
Yeah.
It's just a small branch in an affluent area, but it's the one that's always getting held up, but it doesn't have any of the security stuff.
But the one in the middle of the city,
it's got it.
And it's been held up once, twice, but
3 times a week.
the other one gets held up much more frequently.
I guess if you're going to treat, it's like what we do in schools. if you're going to have a public school and have teachers and you're going to treat the students badly and treat them like criminals, you can't be surprised when they start acting like it.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
And we're doing that to people in our neighborhoods. We're saying that you're bad people.
Uh-huh.
And then being surprised when some bad people walk in. It's like, but that was your assumption from the beginning.
Yep. I remember when we moved into our house in the city, and my sister's like, "Oh, you live in such a bad neighborhood. It's so dangerous. You live in the ghetto, and aren't you afraid your neighbors are gonna rob you?" And I'm like, "No, we don't live in a bad neighborhood. We know the neighbors. We don't have to worry about them."
That knowing the neighbors doesn't mean the neighborhood's not bad.
Well, I didn't think our neighborhood was bad.
Oh, okay.
It was families.
But
It was
like I said, that's all neighborhoods.
yeah.
There are no neighborhoods of single people.
But there are neighborhoods of rental properties, and there are neighborhoods.
Our neighborhood was a neighborhood of rental properties.
No.
Yes, it was. It was more than just single family homes of middle class workers. It was a mix.
We weren't middle class workers in our neighborhood.
They were low to middle.
They were not middle class. I don't know anybody in that neighborhood that made.
Well, there were a couple independent business owners. There were people there. You know, people that had decent jobs and families, and you know they were there. But that's what a neighborhood is a mixture of those people, not all one homogenous group of, say, you know, politicians all in the same area.
Right.
You know, all white, all families, all buying their homes, or you know that's not really neighborhood. You know what I mean? That's not a urban neighborhood. Yeah. That's a suburban neighborhood.
Yeah.
Unless you're in DC, that is. Okay. If you want to find the Traveling Farrs, you can find us on the YouTube, Facebook, Pinterest, iTunes, Spotify, and any place that good podcasts are sold. If you like the Instagram or the Twitters, you can find us at Traveling Farrs. If you like the email, travelingfars@gmail.com, she will be answering your emails. And the blog space, thetravelingfars.blueberry.net. No E's in the blueberry.
Don't forget to check out our Patreon. Patreon.com/thetravelingfars.
Right down there.
Give us your money.
We will take it.
It will be much appreciated.
Help us get those new 300 X's.
We'll make you a shirt.
And I think I need a new Blackmagic pocket cinema camera.
Yeah, but you can't.
6K.
You can't get the Da Vinci. You said.
Oh, I'm gonna need a new computer anyway.
You and me both.
Yeah, your shit is exploding, slowly exploding. It's like the explosion that's happening in slow mo.
You always give your computer to Keegan.
Or just take Keegan's.
Well, don't take hers, because she has no NVIDIA anything. You wouldn't be able to play.
No, I don't want it. But the mommy would
yeah,
use it.
mommy, you probably need it, because...
Say goodbye to the people.
Bye,
I didn't say
people.
peace. Old knees. Say goodbye to the people. Say goodbye to the people.
Bye, people.
Peace. See you in 3, 4, 5 weeks or something. You know, somewhere around there.
5? Several weeks.